The sky above Earth split open with light. People on the streets froze as massive ships appeared without warning. They were like mountains floating in the air, dark and shiny, with lights that pulsed like a heartbeat. No one had ever seen anything like it. Governments scrambled, satellites were useless, and panic spread like fire. The message came from the ships, clear and cold in every language. Surrender your world. Resistance is futile. In New York, Dr. Maya Carter stood at the window of her lab, staring at the enormous shadows. Her heart pounded, but her mind raced faster. She had studied alien signals, but nothing had prepared her for this. The aliens were not hiding. They were commanding. Their presence was absolute, like the whole planet was being watched. Maya turned to her assistant, Alex, who shook his head in disbelief. "They really mean it," he said. Maya nodded. "Yes. But we are not done yet." On the streets, fear mixed with confusion. People looked up at the sky, some crying, some screaming, some frozen. But then something strange happened. A small child pointed at the sky and laughed. The sound was bright and innocent. People around her stopped and stared. Then, slowly, some of them began to laugh too. It was nervous at first, then louder. The laughter spread, strange and rebellious, like a signal that humans would not bow easily. Social media exploded. Memes, jokes, and defiant messages filled every screen. Even in the face of the unknown, humans were stubborn. Maya moved through her lab, where screens showed every city under the alien shadow. Power grids were failing. Satellites were burning in orbit. Armies stood still, unable to act. But Maya and her team were ready. They had built experimental drones and quantum communicators, devices that could disrupt signals or even penetrate the alien ships. Every move was risky. Every test could cost lives. Yet, there was no choice. The humans who dared to fight were the only hope. Outside, the air was thick with tension. Helicopters circled, sirens screamed, and yet people watched the sky. Some prayed. Some shouted. Some simply held hands. Humanity had never faced something like this, but even now, instinct took over. Humans were not programmed to surrender easily. They were made to resist, to fight, to survive. On every screen, the aliens spoke again. Their voice was calm, almost soothing, but carried an edge that made spines shiver. 1 hour to surrender. Resistance is meaningless. The words echoed in every city, in every home. The world waited. Leaders did not answer. People did not move. Silence covered the planet, broken only by the wind and distant sirens. Then, from the lab, Maya pressed a button. A tiny drone launched silently into the sky. It was small, barely visible, but it carried the humans' first answer. The drone shot toward one of the alien ships. For a moment, nothing happened. Then a pulse of energy burst from the drone and hit the ship. The alien vessel shuddered, light flickering across its hull. No one had expected that. The pulse should have been weak, harmless. Yet it made the ship tremble like a living thing. People across the city gasped. Maya's team watched screens with wide eyes. The aliens had power, technology beyond imagination, yet humans had managed to touch them. For the first time, the unthinkable felt possible. Resistance was no longer just a dream. It was a spark. The aliens did not retreat. They observed, calculating, analyzing. Their command over humanity was challenged for the first time. And humans, small and fragile in their eyes, laughed. Not out of fearlessness, but defiance. They would fight. They would not kneel. They would survive. Maya looked at Alex and whispered, "They think they understand us. They have no idea what humans can do." Alex nodded. The tension in the room was sharp, but excitement mingled with fear. Every plan, every calculation, every experiment mattered more than ever. Humanity had made its first move. The aliens had come to command, but humans had chosen to respond. Across the planet, similar labs, similar small teams, similar brave people were moving. The pulse of defiance spread. Earth would not surrender quietly. People who had never thought of fighting now prepared in secret. Weapons, drones, signals, Every tool mattered. The world was changing in hours. What had begun as panic was becoming something else. Something dangerous for the aliens. Something hopeful for humans. As night fell, the alien ships hovered silently, glowing in the dark sky. Humans watched from their windows, their rooftops, and their streets. The laughter, the defiance, the pulse of rebellion, it was everywhere. And in the labs, in the hidden corners of every city, the real work began. Humanity had a chance, small but real. And they would take it, no matter the cost. The first spark had ignited. The war had not started, but it had already begun in the minds and hearts of humans. And the aliens, who thought they commanded Earth, would soon learn that nothing about humanity was predictable, nothing about their courage was ordinary, and nothing about their will could be broken. The first night after the alien arrival was quiet, but the world was not at peace. People stayed inside, watching the sky. The massive ships hovered like silent predators. Lights shimmered across their hulls, and every movement was precise, almost too perfect to be natural. Governments tried to organize resistance, but military forces froze under the sheer scale of the threat. Ordinary humans, however, began to move in small, unexpected ways. In the lab, Dr. Maya Carter and her team worked through the night. Their screens showed live feeds from drones and satellites, tracking alien movement. The pulse from the first drone had shaken one of the ships, and now humanity had a clue these invaders, for all their power, were not invincible. Maya tapped her keyboard furiously, coordinating signals between hidden teams across continents. She had only one thought: humans could fight back, but only if they worked together. Alex, her assistant, was monitoring the energy readings from the alien ship. "Maya," he said, pointing at the screen, "look at this." The pulse didn't just hit the ship. It disrupted their energy core. It's temporary, but it slowed their systems. They are adapting, but they are vulnerable. Maya's eyes widened. Then we need more pulses. We need precision, speed, and coordination. If we hit them in the right places, we can force them to retreat. Across the city, ordinary people were starting to act. Streets that were empty earlier now had small groups carrying handheld radios, flashlights, and homemade devices. Some were scientists, some engineers, and some just brave civilians. They had heard about the pulse and wanted to contribute. It was dangerous, almost suicidal, but fear was turning into determination. Humanity was awakening. Suddenly, the alien ships moved in unison. One hovered over the Atlantic Ocean, another above Tokyo, and a third directly above New York. A low hum filled the air, vibrating through buildings and streets. People panicked again, but this time the fear mixed with defiance. No one ran. They watched. They waited. In the lab, Maya realized the aliens were scanning for resistance. Their sensors could detect unusual energy patterns, small signals, or unauthorized transmissions. Any mistake could be catastrophic. She turned to her team. "We cannot make them see us. We must be ghosts. Invisible but deadly." They nodded. Every hand on the keyboards, every eye on the screen, was focused. The team moved like one organism, synchronized in thought and action. Outside, a young engineer named Leo had his homemade drone ready. It was small, almost toy-like, but loaded with a pulsometer designed to hit weak points in the alien hull. He hesitated, heart racing. But then he remembered the message from humanity itself: "We will not surrender." With a deep breath, he launched the drone into the sky. It shot upward, disappearing into the darkness. The alien ship detected it immediately. A beam of light shot toward the drone, vaporizing everything in its path. Leo watched, stunned, but the drone split into 3 smaller units, each sending pulses in rapid succession. One hit the ship directly. The hull flickered, lights sparking. The alien ship shuddered, almost as if in pain. Across the city, people cheered quietly, afraid of being seen. Hope had a taste now. Maya studied the alien signals carefully. They were intelligent, calculating, and dangerous, but they were not infallible. Each pulse, each disruption, forced the ships to adapt. Every mistake they made was an opening. And humanity, small but relentless, was learning fast. Then the aliens spoke again, their voice calm but sharper this time. Resistance detected. Humans are inefficient. Surrender or face destruction. The words were cold, precise, but Maya noticed something different. There was hesitation in the timing between their sentences, almost imperceptible. The pulse had made them pause, think, even worry. That pause was the opportunity humans needed. Across the world, hidden labs, abandoned warehouses, and rooftops were alive with action. Teams coordinated through encrypted channels, sending drones, energy pulses, and experimental weapons toward the alien ships. It was chaotic, dangerous, and beautiful. Humans were proving that even when outmatched, courage, creativity, and unity could turn the tide. Maya looked at Alex. "This is just the beginning," she said. "They came to command. They expected submission. Instead, they found resistance. We need to make them doubt, make them fear. That is how humans survive." Alex nodded, understanding the weight of her words. Every pulse sent, every small victory, was not just a fight, it was a message. Humans were unpredictable. Humans were dangerous. Outside, the night sky was alive with sparks of light as pulses struck alien hulls. People on the streets watched, hearts pounding, voices whispering encouragement. Fear was still there, but it was no longer paralyzing. Hope had arrived, fragile but real. Humanity had responded to the command to surrender with laughter, defiance, and strategy. And the aliens, mighty and precise, were beginning to understand that Earth would not be easy to conquer. The first battle had been small, but its impact was enormous. It was no longer just survival. It was resistance. Humanity was awake, united in a way that even the aliens could not predict. And in hidden labs and quiet corners across the planet, Maya and her team prepared for the next strike, knowing that the war for Earth had only begun. The sky pulsed with alien light, but now, somewhere beneath it, humans had a spark that could not be extinguished. The morning after the first pulses hit the alien ships brought a strange silence. People on the streets were quiet, cautious, yet alive with determination. News spread fast, humanity had struck back, and for the first time, the invaders had faltered. But this was only the beginning. The aliens were intelligent, patient, and now, they were angry. Dr. Maya Carter watched screens filled with real-time feeds. The ships had slowed, hovering like predators unsure of their prey. Energy readings flickered. One of the ships had developed minor malfunctions after repeated pulses, its lights dimming in unexpected ways. "They are adapting," Alex said, eyes scanning the numbers. "But not fast enough. We can push them further." Maya nodded. She knew humans had a small window before the aliens learned to counter their moves. Every second counted. Across Europe, Asia, and North America, similar operations were underway. Civilians, scientists, engineers, even teenagers with technical knowledge all were part of a global network. Humanity had no central army capable of defeating the aliens, but they had creativity, courage, and unpredictability. These were things the aliens could not calculate. In New York, Leo prepared a new drone, larger and faster than the first. This one carried multiple pulse emitters. His hands trembled, but he remembered why he was doing this. The world had commanded humans to surrender. Humans had laughed. And now, they were fighting back. The aliens noticed the increased activity. Their voice came again, this time sharper and more threatening. Resistance escalates. Humans are illogical. Compliance required or destruction follows. The tone carried anger now, not just command. Maya and her team studied the speech patterns carefully. Even the smallest hint of emotion was valuable. These beings were powerful, but not perfect. Suddenly, a massive beam of light shot from one of the ships toward the city. Buildings shook, glass shattered, and alarms screamed. People ran for cover, but Maya's team stayed focused. They had anticipated this. The beam hit the exact spot where a drone had struck before. The pulse had disrupted their calculations. Humanity's unpredictable actions were forcing mistakes. Leo launched the new drone. It dodged the beam, moving faster than anything the aliens expected. Each pulse it fired caused sparks across the alien hull. For the first time, a human-made weapon caused serious damage. The ship wavered, tilting slightly, almost like a wounded giant. Across the city, people held their breath. Small victories mattered. Each flicker of alien light that failed to strike its target was hope manifest. In the lab, Maya noticed a pattern in the alien behavior. They are overreacting to the smallest disruptions, she said. They expect predictability. They cannot handle chaos. We need to create more. Alex leaned closer. You mean more coordinated strikes across multiple locations? Maya nodded. Exactly. We hit them everywhere at once. They will not be able to adapt fast enough. Teams in hidden corners of the world synchronized their actions. Drones launched from rooftops, forests, and abandoned buildings. Each one carried pulses, energy disruptors, and experimental weapons. The alien ships flickered under the onslaught. For all their size and power, they were vulnerable to careful, human-made strikes. But the aliens were not helpless. Their systems adapted faster than Maya had expected. Shields began to strengthen. Energy pulses deflected. The alien ships moved in patterns calculated to minimize damage. And then, one of the ships fired a retaliatory strike, a massive beam that tore through the outskirts of the city. Explosions rocked the streets, and fear returned like a cold wave. Civilians scrambled to safety. Humanity's fight was not easy. It came with a cost. Maya's team worked furiously, redirecting drones, recalculating attack vectors, and adjusting pulse frequencies. Every strike, every maneuver mattered. Humans were learning, adapting faster than the aliens predicted. Small, local victories turned into a global strategy. The message was clear: humans refused to surrender. At the same time, ordinary people began to rise. Volunteers helped in shelters, carried supplies, repaired damaged equipment, and even built improvised weapons. The world was no longer divided into nations. It had become a single organism with a singular goal: survive and resist. The alien command underestimated the strength of human unity. By nightfall, the first real victory arrived. One of the massive ships, previously untouchable, faltered and fell, crashing into the ocean with a roar that shook coastal cities. Humanity erupted in celebration, but Maya knew better than to relax. The aliens had more ships, more power, and more intelligence. They would strike back harder, faster, and smarter. Alex turned to Maya. They will not stop, he said. They will hit even harder tomorrow. Maya nodded, eyes fixed on the dark sky where the remaining ships hovered. Then we fight harder, she said. We take every chance they give us. We make them fear humanity the way they tried to make us fear them. And so the war began in earnest. The first strikes had shown humans were not helpless. The aliens, for all their strength, had underestimated the courage, creativity, and unpredictability of Earth's defenders. Each victory, small or large, was a step toward survival. Each pulse sent, each ship damaged, was a message: humans would not surrender. The sky glowed with the lights of alien ships and human drones. The world held its breath, ready for the next wave. Humanity had discovered something critical. Strength was not only in technology, but in courage, in unity, and in refusing to bow. And the aliens, mighty and relentless, would soon learn the cost of underestimating a species that refused to kneel. The dawn brought smoke and fire across the cities that had faced the first wave of alien strikes. Debris littered streets, and the air smelled of burned metal. Yet, people moved with purpose. Civilians, scientists, engineers, and volunteers worked together, repairing drones, restoring communications, and preparing new weapons. Humanity had tasted victory, and fear alone could no longer control them. Dr. Maya Carter and her team monitored the alien ships. The fallen ship in the ocean had sent a ripple through their formation. The remaining vessels moved faster, more calculated, their energy signatures sharper, more aggressive. The aliens had learned. They would strike with precision now, targeting critical locations, hoping to crush resistance before it spread further. Alex pointed at the screens. They are predicting where our drones will strike. They are trying to anticipate us. Maya's eyes narrowed. Then we stop being predictable. We change patterns every second. We hit from unexpected directions. Humans are chaos, they cannot calculate chaos. Across Europe, teams coordinated. In Tokyo, small drones darted between skyscrapers. In London, volunteers carried portable pulse devices to the rooftops. In New York, Maya launched a fleet of experimental drones carrying mini-pulses. Each strike was faster, smarter, and more synchronized than before. The aliens could adapt, but humans were relentless, adapting faster. Then the first major retaliation came. A ship over New York fired a massive beam across the skyline. Buildings collapsed, streets crumbled, and screams filled the air. Panic gripped the city, but among the chaos, small teams of humans worked silently. Leo, the young engineer, ducked behind a shattered wall and launched a swarm of drones. Each drone zipped through the air, firing pulses directly at the alien ship. Sparks danced along its hull, forcing it to shift its position. In the lab, Maya watched the energy readings climb and fall with each pulse. "Every move costs them energy," she said. "Every small strike weakens their control." Alex nodded, eyes glued to the display. "They will come back harder. We need to be ready for the worst." The aliens were relentless. Ships hovered over major cities, scanning, firing, destroying. Yet every attack revealed a flaw. Their calculations, though perfect for most humans, failed against unpredictability. People hid in basements and alleyways, but others fought back. Improvised weapons, clever tactics, and daring moves disrupted the alien systems. Humanity was learning to fight on its terms. Meanwhile, Maya discovered something unexpected. The pulses humans had fired were affecting the alien communication network. Ships were beginning to lose coordination with each other. Signals flickered. Orders slowed. The aliens had not anticipated that humans could attack not just physically, but digitally, and with creativity. Across the world, small victories gave hope. In Berlin, a team hacked into a minor alien sensor, causing it to misfire. In Sydney, drones disabled a defensive shield on a ship. These acts, though small, multiplied. Humanity's resistance was no longer local. It was global, unpredictable, and growing stronger by the hour. But the aliens adapted too. Their retaliation intensified. Massive beams tore through cities. People fled, shelters filled to capacity, and the casualties mounted. Maya realized the fight was no longer just about survival. It was about testing limits, learning fast, and exploiting weaknesses. Every strike, every pulse, was a message: humans would not surrender. In a quiet moment, Maya looked at Alex. "They will hit again tonight. They are angry, but their anger makes mistakes." Alex replied, "We need to be ready. Not just with drones and pulses, but with humans. Everyone must know their role." Maya nodded. Courage and coordination would be as important as technology. Humanity's strength was in their unpredictability and unity. Night came, and the sky glowed with alien energy. Beams cut through clouds, illuminating ruined streets. Yet, humans struck back. Drones launched from hidden rooftops, swarms darted through the sky, and pulse waves shimmered across alien hulls. Each pulse disrupted, each strike damaged, and each victory inspired more action. Humanity was fighting not just for survival, but to prove that Earth belonged to them. The aliens had underestimated one thing: the human spirit. Even in fear, even in loss, humans adapted, learned, and struck back. They were unpredictable, united, and relentless. Maya watched the screens, calculating the next moves. The aliens were powerful, but their power had limits. Humanity's courage and creativity could fill those gaps, strike where they were weak, and survive where survival seemed impossible. As the night deepened, the first clear sign came. One alien ship faltered under a coordinated global strike. Lights dimmed, systems glitched, and the vessel wobbled. Humanity had forced a retreat, but they knew this was only a single battle in a long war. The aliens had more ships, more firepower, and more intelligence. Maya whispered to herself, "They came to command Earth, but they will learn what humans are capable of." The world, battered and scared, slept uneasily. Hidden labs and rooftops hummed with activity. Humanity had survived, learned, and struck back. The war had entered a new phase. One where humans were not just defending, they were showing the first real signs of victory. The sky glowed with the threat of alien power, but beneath it, humanity burned brighter. Fear had not broken them. Destruction had not stopped them. And in the shadows of ruined cities, humans prepared for the next day, ready to fight harder, strike smarter, and prove that surrender was never an option. The morning after the alien retaliation, the world was tense but alive with purpose. Humanity had survived, and now it was time to take the fight forward. Dr. Maya Carter and her team worked tirelessly, studying every movement of the remaining alien ships. Each pulse, each beam, each maneuver was logged and analyzed. They had learned much in the past days, and now humans would act with precision, not just reaction. Alex tapped the screen. Maya, we can coordinate drones globally. If we hit multiple ships at once, they can't adapt fast enough. We have the numbers, the unpredictability, and the courage. Maya's eyes shone with determination. Then we do it. This is the first real counterattack. Humanity strikes back on its terms. Across the globe, small teams prepared. Engineers, volunteers, and scientists worked in hidden labs, rooftops, forests, and abandoned buildings. Every pulse emitter, every drone, every device was ready. Communications were encrypted, signals disguised, and attacks synchronized. Humans were no longer scattering, they were united in a single purpose. The aliens, massive and powerful, hovered silently, scanning for resistance. Their sensors were sharp, their weapons deadly, but their algorithms were being challenged by human unpredictability. The pulses had caused disruptions before, but this time, humans would strike strategically, hitting weaknesses they had discovered. Leo, the young engineer, launched the first wave. Dozens of drones moved like a swarm, splitting into small groups, each targeting a specific point on the alien hulls. The pulses hit simultaneously across multiple ships. Sparks flared, lights flickered, and shields weakened. The aliens fired back, beams tearing through buildings and streets, but humans adapted instantly, dodging, dispersing, and continuing the assault. In New York, people watched from rooftops and windows. Fear was still present, but it was mixed with awe and hope. Humanity, fragile yet fearless, was fighting on its terms. They were not surrendering, they were striking. Maya studied the screens, noticing patterns in alien reactions. They are calculating faster than before, but they cannot predict chaos, she said. Alex nodded. We need to escalate, keep changing targets, hit them where they least expect. Maya typed furiously, coordinating attacks in Tokyo, London, Berlin, and Sydney simultaneously. Humanity was becoming a global force. The aliens grew aggressive. Massive beams fired toward cities, attempting to crush resistance. Yet every attack created openings. Small teams of humans moved in with drones, pulse devices, and experimental weapons. Each strike damaged energy cores, disrupted shields, and forced alien ships to stagger. Humanity's first major counterattack was working. In a quiet moment, Maya reflected on the human spirit. People who had never faced war now led teams. Engineers, students, and ordinary workers had become warriors. The aliens had expected fear, submission, and obedience. Instead, they faced courage, creativity, and unity. Humanity was proving that strength was not only in weapons, but in intelligence, teamwork, and the refusal to bow. The first major victory came as one of the ships, the largest remaining, faltered under combined attacks. Its hull sparked, shields collapsed briefly, and it veered off course. Humanity had not destroyed it, but they had made it hesitate. Across the planet, teams cheered quietly. Each small success inspired more action. Humans were learning, adapting, and striking with confidence. But the aliens were not defeated. They regrouped, firing in coordinated bursts, attempting to anticipate the next human move. Cities trembled, buildings crumbled, and chaos filled the streets. Yet humans responded faster, hitting weak points, coordinating strikes, and exploiting every mistake. The battle was brutal, relentless, and exhausting, but humanity had gained momentum. Maya looked at Alex. They are powerful, but we are unstoppable when united. This is the moment humans show what they are made of. Alex nodded. We have learned from every strike, every pulse. We are unpredictable. They cannot calculate that. As night fell, the sky was alive with energy. Pulses streaked across alien hulls, beams fired back, and cities glowed with the fight of humanity. This was no longer just survival, it was defiance. Humans had shown that even against invincible odds, courage and strategy could carve victory. In hidden labs, people repaired drones, recalculated attack points, and prepared for the next wave. Across rooftops, streets, and forests, humans worked in silence and determination. The first major counterattack had succeeded, but the war was far from over. The aliens had learned, adapted, and would strike harder. Humanity would have to adapt faster, fight smarter, and strike with even more courage. Maya whispered to herself, "We are not just fighting for Earth. We are showing the universe that humans do not surrender." The glow of alien ships above the city lit her determined face. Humanity had won the first significant battle, but the war had just begun. And the species that the aliens thought would bow had instead become a force they had never imagined. The sky was dark, heavy with the looming alien ships. After days of attacks and counterattacks, Earth had changed. Cities bore scars, streets were cracked, and fires still glowed, but humanity had survived. For the first time, humans had proven that the aliens, mighty and precise, could be challenged. Dr. Maya Carter stood in the lab, surrounded by monitors showing the positions of every alien ship. The largest vessel hovered over the Atlantic, another over New York, and the rest spread across major cities. Humanity had struck hard before, but this would be the decisive moment. Every pulse emitter, every drone, every plan would be used together in one final coordinated strike. Alex leaned over her shoulder. They've regrouped. They're predicting human actions more accurately. But they haven't accounted for chaos at this scale. Maya nodded. Then we give them chaos. We hit everywhere at once. They will not know what to defend. Teams around the world synchronized. From Tokyo to London, Sydney to Berlin, humans moved like one organism. Drones launched from rooftops, forests, and hidden labs. Pulse devices flared, disrupting shields, energy systems, and communications. The aliens fired back with massive beams, attempting to crush the attacks. Buildings shook, streets collapsed, and explosions lit the night. Fear surged, but humans pressed on. Courage now outweighed terror. Leo led a squadron of drones toward the largest ship. Each drone carried powerful pulse emitters, designed to overload critical systems. The aliens detected them immediately and fired in waves, destroying some drones. Yet others darted through, unpredictable, striking exactly where the aliens were weakest. Sparks flared across the massive hull, systems glitched, and alarms blared. In New York, humans watched from safe positions, their eyes wide. They had survived, but now they were witnessing something extraordinary. The alien ship, colossal and imposing, shuddered under the combined human assault. Pulses hit its engines, shields, and communication arrays simultaneously. For the first time, the invaders hesitated. Maya studied the monitors, realizing something important. The aliens, for all their power, relied on perfect coordination and control. Humanity had no single leader, no single plan. They acted independently yet united, unpredictably yet strategically. Chaos was their weapon, and the aliens could not calculate it. Then came the turning point. The largest ship over the Atlantic wavered, its hull cracking, lights flickering. Smaller vessels lost balance and collided. Signals failed. The aliens had underestimated human courage, creativity, and unity. Across the globe, humans cheered quietly, careful not to draw alien attention. But their hearts were full of hope. The final strike came from all directions. Drones, pulses, and experimental weapons hit every remaining ship. Energy cores overheated, shields collapsed, and weapons misfired. The aliens fired desperately, but humans adapted instantly, dodging, countering, and pushing forward. It was the culmination of every strike, every calculation, every lesson learned. And then, one by one, the alien ships began to fall. Massive vessels plummeted into oceans, forests, and deserts. Explosions lit the night sky. Humanity had done the impossible. The invaders, who had commanded Earth to surrender, were defeated not by one weapon or one hero, but by the courage, intelligence, and determination of the human race. Maya and Alex stood together, watching the last ship hover weakly before retreating into the sky. Humanity had survived, and more than that, they had triumphed. People emerged from shelters, streets, and buildings. Tears, laughter, and cries of relief echoed across the world. Earth had not surrendered. Humanity had not bowed. They had fought, endured, and won. In the aftermath, humans began to rebuild. Cities would rise again, stronger and smarter. Technology captured from the fallen ships would accelerate human progress. But more than that, humanity had discovered something deeper. Unity, courage, and defiance could overcome even the most unimaginable force. Maya whispered to Alex, "They came to command Earth. They thought we would surrender. But we laughed, we fought, and we won. Humanity is stronger than anyone believed." Alex smiled, exhaustion and pride on his face. "We showed them, and we showed ourselves. Humans are unstoppable when we refuse to bow." Across the world, humans looked up at the night sky, now free of hovering threats. The stars seemed brighter, the air clearer, and the world quieter. But the memory of defiance, the memory of victory, burned within every human heart. They had faced the impossible and emerged victorious. The aliens had commanded. Earth had laughed. And that laughter had become a roar of defiance, echoing across the planet. Humans had proven what they had always known deep inside: no matter how powerful the enemy, the spirit of humanity could never be broken. And so, Earth remained free. The war had ended, but the legend of human courage, intelligence, and unity would live on forever.